Greetings, Better Nation. Yeah, I'm sorry for the late upload. I just got a bit sidetracked after the game. But if you haven't checked the internet all day or watched any television, you would know that Texas Tech won the game against Iowa State. And it was a close one. A very close one. Granted, I thought the game would be close, but I wasn't expecting it to be that close, as you saw from my prediction. The main factor that played into being such a close game was the type of tenacity and fire that came out of Iowa State. I mean, they were playing some pretty good ball for the most part. I mean, our first drive we had in the game, they made us go 3 and out. But afterwards, the offense couldn't connect and we get the ball back. And we score a first touchdown. And then they came right back afterwards, and I believe that's when they got their kickoff return for a touchdown by our special teams. Our special teams was a disaster in this game, I'm going to say. Maybe be a bit hyperbolic, but it's what I think. Because our special teams really did not do so up this team. I mean, there were that power return, the kickoff return for a touchdown, a muff punt, which was recovered, thankfully. And then there's another muff punt that was muffed due to poor knowledge where the ball was at. I mean, having hit the back of your leg so you don't know the ball is located at, and if you're on special teams, especially on punts like that, you should always have constant knowledge of where the ball is at so you don't get nicked in the back of the leg. I mean, I'm going to get pulled right there to Iowa State for seeing that and acting upon it, but man, that was a costly one. That set up our defense and a bad spot after we just stopped them and let them score a touchdown to that. There were a few penalties, but those are supposed to happen every now and again, but both of them were false start penalties, and they really should not be having any false starts on point after attempts. For that's just kind of asinine. Those should be the plays where you don't get any penalties at all. I mean, those are simple to do. But our offense, however, did a fantastic job in this game. Granted, our total score does not indicate that too much, but we had a high-powered offense game. We just couldn't connect all the time in the red zone, which is due in part to Iowa State's red zone defense, which is something I forgot to mention in my pregame video. It's a pretty legit red zone defense. And the 2 turnovers we had on offense, I'm not going to complain about too much. For the interception thrown by Webb was at the end of the game, and you're bound to throw at least one interception every now and again. And he's still a true freshman, so he made a true freshman mistake. So something like that can be fixed easily. And the other turnover was more or less an accident of not holding on to the ball tight enough, which is just a stupid mistake. But if we're gonna continue winning games throughout the season, we need to limit those stupid mistakes that end up shooting you in the foot. We need to learn how to connect better in the red zone against teams like OU, who surprisingly lost today to Texas, and Baylor, and I'm going to say Oklahoma State. I mean, those 3 teams right now I think are the best. And my Texas is now. I just remember they won that game today. although I just mentioned it. Kind of shows you where my mind's at right now. But, anyways, defensively, we also performed quite well in this game. Granted, we let go some pretty big runs by the quarterback Richardson, who had a pretty good game, I think, for a guy with a busted ankle, pretty much. And we had to score a few touchdowns that we probably should have prevented. But other than that, our defense held its ground for the most part. And because of defense, that I never had any doubt that we were going to win this game. Granted, it was a close game, but it was never close enough for me to start rolling if we were going to lose the game. There's one more thing I want to add before I sign off. The referees in this game were awful. I mean, does Iowa State have bad luck when it comes to referees? Because these were some pretty bad refs. I mean, for both sides. I mean, I saw several egregious penalties that we made that weren't called, and I saw several by Iowa State that were not called. And they were making some weird mistakes as referees, like confusing which team had the penalty. You know the one I'm talking about, the holding that was first called against Tech and then taking it back and said it was against Iowa State. Yeah, and there were a few other ones, but try to say the referees were pretty bad in this game. Granted, they weren't costly as they were against the game last week Iowa State played, or in past games we have played. But these were some pretty bad refs. And that's what I'm going to say. Refs were pretty bad in this game. But not bad enough that they would have decided who won or lost. So I'm going to wrap myself up before I start rambling even more than I already am. Before we advance farther into our conference play, we need to have a serious talk with our special teams and how we go about playing it, because if we start making those special team mistakes, we're going to lose the game. Because I'm one of the people who think that out of all, what's the word that I'm looking for? You know how some people say offense is the best and defense is the best. I say special teams is the most important part of a football team. If you have a bad special teams, you're not going to have a good football squad. We need to make sure we fix all the problems we had on special teams. And because the mistakes they made, that the game was closer than I thought it was going to be. But other than that, I am really glad to be 6-0. I mean, this is the first time this has happened since 2008. And that year we were up to rank 2 in the nation. And it's quite an accomplishment for Kingsbury in his first year as a head coach, using true freshmen to become bowl eligible. Now that's an accomplishment. Next week we take on West Virginia. So until then, Raider Nation, guns up, Raider Powell, and Wreck 'em Tech.